saying Happy Valentine's Day. I mean, some of us who are probably naive from sexually naive, were given ideas with these boxes. You're like, okay, what do you do with these? And then our curiosity grew, and before we knew it, half the people who received those boxes felt they had to put them to use, even when they did not want to. So the question is, was the campaign meant to encourage the behavior, or was it? There's some of these things that have had a reverse effect.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just wonder what the motive is. Sometimes you stop and ask yourself, was this something that was well thought through, or did someone really think at what the after effect would be, or was it something that was unforeseen and probably a bad mistake that shouldn't be repeated? These are all the things that have been happening.
Orthodox researchers are baffled to this day as to why HIV negative people are being exposed for several years.
Yeah. But the issue of discordant couples is still, I think, the greatest mystery in this phenomenon called AIDS, because it is very common. At one time it was put at 60-40 chances of 60 to 40 chances that you have you have the one partner negative and the other one seroconverting as a result of exposure or something like that. I still don't understand it because you have, and I know couples personally who have lived together for over 10-15 years, where one partner is positive and the other one is negative, and they've still gone on to have kids. And I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how the medical people explain that.
Well, what would you think if you were to listen to top researchers saying that HIV simply isn't sexually transmitted at all, and that all the studies of discordant couples conducted all around the world actually are the compelling evidence collectively that HIV is not sexually transmitted?
Well, I think I would very quickly subscribe to their argument, because it makes more sense than what we have here already. Because when people say, as it is, some people have this and some people have that, some of these explanations sound like religious dogma to me. I listen and I say, you're medical professionals. You can't give us. You can't fail to explain. There's a disease. By the time you identify the disease, I'm sure there's certain things you know about it.
Yeah.
And if there's certain strings that I know, if there's certain things that don't make sense, then mean you probably did not understand the disease very well, or it's not a disease at all. Yeah. So if you're saying HIV causes AIDS and you can't explain it to the end, then maybe it is not HIV. You need to go back again and find out why this is. Could it be a disease, or is it a condition? What is it? And I think there's a very big difference between a virus and immunosuppression. We have since vaccinations and immunizations were introduced in sub-Saharan Africa, we had our own diseases and all that. But we've started to see certain things that we didn't see before. Cancer was very unknown in Africa. In fact, the very first case of cancer that was registered was in the early 1920s here. The very first case of a heart attack was in the 60s. Before that, those were not, common illnesses. People did not die of a heart attack. People died of probably fever or a running stomach or bad hygiene.
Did you know that there are 70 conditions that cause positive results on HIV antibody tests?
70 conditions?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And not one of those conditions is HIV.
Oh my goodness.
They include, conveniently, they include TB, malaria, pregnancy, hepatitis and leprosy.
Pregnancy?
Flu and flu vaccination.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. That is like then I think the world has been lied to. The world has been lied to, and I think this hoax or this big lie needs to be put to an end at some point, really. As if a pregnancy test really can get a positive test, there's a problem.
Not a pregnancy test, but an HIV test.
An HIV test, right?
Yeah. Considering that as a potential fact for a moment,
Yeah.
that might explain why people at landing sites, marketplaces and prostitutes and policemen would tend to have a high frequency of testing positive.
Ah, okay.
And it's occurred to me that it's strange, since the AIDS orthodoxy is promoting AIDS as a disease for all,
Yes.
in that it doesn't discriminate,
Yeah.
why there are no clinics being set up outside ShopRite in Kalagala or at places like Rock Garden in
Yes.
Garden City.
Yes. It is. Well, I'm still in shock today. You just shocked me with the 70.
Yeah.
That I did not know. That was completely new to me. It's very unfortunate that the people who have the most logical explanations are being shut up and are not given a chance to air their views by people who are benefiting from sponsorships of research and funds to carry out research.
Yeah.
And the research can go on forever and ever, but
At what cost?
yeah, at what cost? I think there needs to be a real self-searching of the heart on the side of the medical world, and they need to go back to finding out, to what the real purpose of medicine is. Is it to heal or to enslave? Keep people hooked on prescription drugs for the rest of their lives. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's
I
okay.
know about it.
You told me last time in some detail how the global fund fraud panned out, why it was actually a fraud, and you told me some things that I'd not been aware of.
It is interesting, and this is we had a commission of inquiry here that threw some light on things that we probably would have never known about in our lives. This is what happened. We had money sent in a global fund. The global fund is, I think it's like a pool of funds from the big economies of the world to help countries that are suffering from tuberculosis, malaria, HIV, and AIDS.
Yeah.
And each country is allocated a certain amount of funds, and this comes from a global fund. I think I don't know where the headquarters are, but I'd imagine it's from one of the Swiss banks. So this is what happens when this money is it dispensed is the right word? When it's given,
Yeah, distributed.
when it's distributed to the African countries. It then gets in the hands of the government or the health ministry, and then people have to plan for it. But it's from the time it is allocated to the time when it's actually given. You have people preparing projects and all these ideas of how they're going to have this money distributed, and they're asking people for their proposals, and all these organizations are strategizing for how they're going to tap into these funds. People set up NGOs and charities to benefit from this fund. Now, the politicians also strategically have been doing this, and this was according to that report. They locked into the exchange rate. This is how it works. This is how the fraud works. I am a politician. I strike a deal with the bank. I speak with the bank manager. I am a person representing the ministry, or I am the person who's basically handling this fund.
Yeah.
This is big business for you. This is a big account for your bank, because it's it's 15 billion US dollars, and you're going to be handling this over the next 4 or 5 years. That automatically makes your assets go up by your value as a bank goes up. This is what I want in return. One, this money is in US dollars, or it's in euros, or it's in the pounds. It has to be exchanged into, say, Uganda shillings. And the exchange rate, as far as we're concerned, is currently this, but I want it at this. That is step number one. I don't know what example to give, but if the exchange rate is, say, for every 10 pounds, for every 12 pounds, I want you to give me 10 pounds. So basically I'm making 2 pounds of free exchange. And that in billions, of course, translates into something else. And yeah, a big majority of them make money off the exchange rate. So that is step number one. That's already like profit. Yeah, I can't explain the profit margin here because it's a very big figure. It's very humongous.